Hello, eFree. Good to see you all here again. It has been 7 glorious months since Janelle and I became empty nesters. I had the bathroom to myself. No additional dishes in the sink when either of us got home from work. We only had to run the dishwasher every 4 days. Nobody hogging the Wi-Fi when I tried to have a Zoom meeting at home. Our 1,200 square foot split level was more than enough room for us and the occasional guest. It was glorious. But then first, it was our 17-year-old who moved back in. And then our 19-year-old came back from Australia. And now our 22-year-old is moving in today. The house is going to be tight for a little while. But this is going to be fun. I'm not complaining, even though it sounds like I am. I'm honestly excited about having my kids home, even though they don't clean up after themselves as much as I would like them to. But the fact of the matter is, together we are designing a different future together. Different than we all had planned. And some of it is sad. Riley wasn't coming back. She was hoping to graduate from Caronport High School. Hallie wasn't planning on coming back from Australia. She was hoping to finish her term there. Zach wasn't planning on coming back down here from Calgary. He was hoping to go on, graduate with 2 of his degrees, and begin working. Now, they're sad for what should have been, and we are going to lament that. But they are trying to make the best out of a situation now and make good plans for the future. And that's what we're trying to do here at eFree. We need to lament what could have been, and we're going to do that together on May 18th, coming up here with a day of prayer and fasting. But we are also moving towards a future that God knew before, and He has a great plan for us now. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21 says this: "You can make many plans, but the Lord's purposes will prevail." And His purposes are going to prevail for us, and we are looking forward to that. We're designing a different future. So what's this going to look like? Well, first of all, I want to assure you, and I've said this a few times, our mission and our vision are unchanged. We are still moving forward in, up, and out. But there have been some shifts. At the time the pandemic came, we had already finished our ministry action plans for this year. All 20 of our ministries had sat down, they'd prayed, they sought the face of God, said, "God, what do you have for us?" And they'd laid out these plans. And then the pandemic hit. At the time, they had planned to use our facility to achieve these things as a tool. But now they don't have that. So they are going back and adjusting to the new reality, setting some new goals, making some new plans. And here are some examples. We are preparing a new sermon series that's going to start in 2 weeks based on the book of Daniel. We're going to have some great children's ministry engagement in that, and we are producing some excellent journals to help us in this so we can hear the voice of God. Children's ministry is also planning and preparing to do an online VBS this summer, using lots of things to reach out and figuring out ways to reach out to kids through this means. It's still going to be the same date, July 6th through 10. Our youth ministry, they are brainstorming and figuring out ways to figure out how they are going to minister through the summer with the new realities of kids are going to be home much of the summer. We would love to work with our partners at SABC and have a huge impact with them because of the impact that they've had with us in our church over the past many summers. Women's ministry has adjusted well already, and they are looking at ways to enfold neighbors into our programs, so there will be continued connections in ways that they hadn't experienced yet. Our missions team is contacting all our ministry partners at home and abroad, seeing how that we can support them and their ministries during this time. And I'm hopeful that all our ministries will not only weather this storm, but grow in outreach during this time. God's kingdom is going to come. He has a great plan for this, and we are seeking to make it work. Now, some have been asking about our budget. What is our budget going to look like in this next year? There are so many unknowns, it's tricky. So we are going to come to our members meeting on June 15th with some well thought through iterations and clearly communicate our assumptions and reasoning for each. This will be a day of prayer and fasting as well, and we are going to look forward together with great anticipation for what God is going to do. We are planning well for this. I also know that there are many questions about when we're going to be able to get back into our facility. We left our facility 8 weeks ago, and the reason was to protect the vulnerable and to make sure that our healthcare system would be able to handle those in need. We are still aware of that, and we are still motivated by those in need. This is part of our vision statement, by the way. We all miss gathering together and worshiping God together. We miss congregating together, giving each other hugs, and pointing our hearts towards God and encouraging each other in this way. But we want to come back together in a glorious and God-honoring way. So let me assure you that we are making plans as best we can based on the information that we have and how we will proceed. God is calling us to be bridge builders here in this situation as well. We don't want to just return to normal for the sake of returning to normal. God is going to use this time to make us a stronger church and to draw us deeper into himself and to impact our community. Our church is going to change as a result of this. It's inevitable. I don't even know all the ramifications. But we are going to honor God's purposes in this return. Building stronger disciples is what he called us to. And so this is going to be our first consideration. To hear the voice of God, to be obedient to what he calls us to do, and to teach others to do that same thing. Can I get an amen on that? I think I hear a few of you. Finally, let me just encourage you in this way. In this time when the church is scattered, I need you to continue to be the church. We need to love one another. John 13:35 says this, "Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples." Let's prove this to the world. Let's love each other. We need to reach out to our neighbors. 1 Peter 3 says we should always be ready to give an answer for the hope that we have. So as you walk around your neighborhood and engage your neighbors, why don't you express some of this hope that you have? And we are called to love those in need. We have unprecedented ways to show our compassion to our city. May we be generous with our time and our resources to truly love those in need. You are the church. Continue to reach out and build bridges of love. Amen.